Yeah, what up? A lot of people say, well, what's next for Artur Beterbiev? I'm one of the guys that says, I just don't want to see no trilogy. I mean, I think it'll probably happen, right? Everyone will get paid to go, oh, it's 1-1, we need to decide it. Well, it's not really 1-1, in my opinion. I thought Bivol won both of them. I thought he edged the first one, and I thought he won the second one clearly by 4 rounds. And I just, it's doesn't appeal that much. What would appeal is a match that my man's Maloney suggested. I've seen in the comments. What about Beterbiev? Opetaia. Opetaia. Now you might say like, oh, how can you get a world title shot off a win? Well, that's what the rematch would be anyway, wouldn't it? It would be another world title shot off a world title shot off a loss. If he fights Bivol, well, he's getting a world title shot off a loss. And that's exactly what happened to Bivol. So that's nonsense. Okay, it's another weight. But, weird things happen in boxing. You remember when Sugar Ray Leonard, boxed Donnie Lalonde for Lalonde's light heavyweight title and the super middleweight title at 168, so come on, man. Everyone knows boxing's professional, money talks, BS walks. And the thing about, what's his face, Beterbiev, is as an amateur, he fought as a heavy. He fought largely as a heavyweight. Yeah. He even boxed Usyk 3 times, blood. He boxed Usyk 3 times. Yeah, the first one was in 2007, which Beterbiev won. Yeah, they sneaked a 10-12 decision on the old scoring system. When they were by punches landed, that was really whack amateur boxing during those times. But Beterbiev did actually manage to drop Usyk. Look at this footage here. Yeah, it's a nasty little... All body shots are nasty. I was going to say nasty little body shot, but they're all nasty. So Beterbiev beat Usyk in the rematch, right? In the World Championship quarterfinal. Usyk outpointed Beterbiev by 17-13. And they had a final match. They had a final match, which was the Olympics in the quarterfinals of the 2012 London Olympics, where Usyk won the gold medal and where Gay won a super heavyweight gold medal. Now, that was again 17-13, but Beterbiev was a very good amateur. Usyk was obviously a slight level above. So the point is this. So Beterbiev has fought, right, at heavyweight as an amateur for almost all his career. Now, the amateur limit, although they've messed the weights around, but, certainly at the moment, it's 201 pounds, right, for heavyweight. Anything above 201 pounds is super heavyweight, okay? And in the pros, the current cruiserweight limit, so cruiserweight is basically the equivalent of amateur boxing's heavyweight, is 200 pounds. Now, they messed it around. When they started, it was 190 pounds in one organisation, 195 pounds in another World Boxing organisation, and then they both decided 195 pounds would be okay, and now it's gone up to 200 pounds, and I'm okay with 200 pounds weight limit, right? So basically, Beterbiev will be returning to his amateur weight. I mean, obviously, I think he's learned to do the weight very well, and possibly with PEDs. I don't know what kind of PEDs, but he's in super shape for a man of his age. I don't know whether he gets his weight down with clenbuterol or... I don't know. He's spoken about facing Usyk at heavyweight, which is a bit weird. That's jumping up to heavyweight. It's been done before in the past, obviously. Guys like Michael Spinks, beating Larry Holmes. But this is what Artur had to say.
Is it possible at all that we see a rematch from the amateurs, you against Alexander Usyk at like a catch weight or something?
No, he's too strong to me, He's like heavyweight, he's too strong.
Yeah, I mean, he says he'd be too strong. I mean, he'd be too big. I mean, yeah, I mean, Usyk's over 220 now. He's settled into the heavyweight division. I think that's fair enough. That's too big a jump for Beterbiev. Even though obviously they say, Usyk boxed at a middleweight and got beaten by, who was it, Sean Porter or someone? Anyway. The interesting fight, therefore, would be Opetaia vs Beterbiev, and there's no one really at cruiserweight. There's no one at cruiserweight for Opetaia to fight apart from Zurdo Ramirez. Will Zurdo take the fight? I don't know. He might. Yeah. If I if I was his management, I would only take that fight if I got offered a huge payday by Turki Al Sheikh. Because let's be quite clear here, right? Opetaia is extremely dangerous, and he's likely to hurt a man. He wipes them out. Of course, Marius Brady is the exception, in recent times. But David Nika got smashed. Jack Massey, who went the distance with Joe Parker, got smashed. Elvis Sorry got absolutely flattened. No surprise. Jordan Thompson as well. I mean, he's obviously gone the distance a bit. Opetaia's got 27 wins, 21 KOs. But come on, man. Like I said, apart from Zurdo at cruiserweight, and I would be surprised if Ramirez takes that. Like I said, if I was Ramirez management, unless I got a massive payday, I wouldn't go near Opetaia, because he's a bit of a fat cruiser anyway. Ramirez, he was fat light heavyweight, wasn't he? I don't know how he got down super middle. He's quite big and everything, but yeah. So. In the meanwhile, who else is there to fight at cruiser? Well, who else is Opetaia meant to fight at cruiserweight? I mean, there's just no one there. Like I said, what is he going to do? Fight Chris Billam-Smith? Like, Chubby isn't a grass. He would never call the police. Like I said before, but if Jay Opetaia's matched with Chris Billam-Smith, I call the police, go, look, there's about to be a horrible, violent assault in the ring and someone's going to get badly hurt. I mean, he's very tough, Billam-Smith, to be honest with you. But he's not, I actually give him credit. He gave Ramirez a decent fight and everything. I may be being a bit hard on him, but I would not fancy his chances against Opetaia. And apart from that, there's just no one. Ryan Rosiski, I mean, come on, man, be serious. There's just no one there at cruiserweight. It's probably, I haven't looked at every division, but it's probably got the least amount of talented boxers in. Now, obviously, with the cruiserweight, traditionally, they'd say, well, you can't make it a heavyweight, try cruiserweight. Well, it's not that easy now, especially now heavyweights are so big. But basically, the cruiserweight's become a very reasonable division. It's a good division. Obviously, it's had Holyfield, Usyk, and now Opetaia. So these are great fighters. So the early days are long gone with people like Marvin Camel and people like that. Carlos De Leon. And forbid Johnny Nelson. Who did he fight? James Waring, another guy. I think James Waring fought Randall Tex Cobb in a kickboxing match. But anyway, that's a tangent. That's another video. But yeah, I think he beat him too. But Opetaia vs Beterbiev, who could not, enjoy that? Who could not enjoy that? As I said, Beterbiev has boxed to that weight before for most of his amateur. His amateur bouts were boxed at 200 pounds, 201 pounds, I should say. Yeah. And like I said, the fact that he hasn't boxed yet at cruiserweight as a pro doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Money talks, right? I mean, that's why Bakoli went in, even though he was completely out of shape and he hadn't trained a minute since August against Joe Parker for some alleged interim title. So, when you got Turkey money, cash money in bag, they can make anything they want. They can make Sonny Edwards vs Jay Opetaia, and they'd probably get away with it. Imagine that. Imagine that violence and destruction. It would take Jay just to walk across the ring and bang him. So I think 3 seconds, the quickest knockout in history. Poor old Sonny. I mean, obviously, he weighs about half as much as Jay by the time he comes in the ring. But yeah, Jay Opetaia vs Beterbiev would be a great fight to have. Well done for Maloney for suggesting it. I don't want to see a third fight between Beterbiev and Bivol. It just doesn't excite. And we've seen the fight. Bivol's just that little bit in front and a little bit better boxer. Yeah. And, Beterbiev is getting on. Let him move up and have a super fight against Jay Opetaia. A bombing fight. Two warriors banging against each other. In my opinion, Opetaia can move up to heavyweight and will move up to heavyweight. He probably comes in the ring, I don't know, he must be at least 215 pounds. I mean, he's not a huge cruiserweight, actually. If you look at him compared to the guys that he's boxed, like, Jordan Thompson look way bigger. Ramirez will probably look bigger. So who else? If David Nika looked huge next to him. But he's not a massive cruiserweight, but he's an extremely violent one with great footwork, great accuracy, great speed, great power. And I got to be honest with you, I think it'll be too much for Beterbiev. Beterbiev's been dropped once by Callum Johnson. It wasn't like a huge knockdown type scenario, but it was, Callum Johnson, come on, man, he was decent at whatever British, European level, but, So what would Opetaia's bombs do? I think he would stop Beterbiev. I assume they'd have a war in the ring. They'd meet in the ring, and I think the power of Jay would end up being too much. He'd KO Beterbiev in about 8 rounds, I reckon. Yeah, but come on, that would be an awesome fight, though. You got to be honest. I would, what would you rather sit and watch? A third fight between Bivol and Beterbiev? It's not a snooze fest, but it's hardly excitement. Or a firefight, a war between Jay Opetaia and Artur Beterbiev. Yeah, sorry, and funny enough, going back, talking of Callum Johnson, the weird thing was, like I said, I just looked it up, and I was right. Okay, he boxes out of Boston, Lincolnshire, England, or he used to when he boxed, right? But he represented Scotland in boxing, in the Commonwealth Games and stuff like that, even though he's not really Scottish. I think some of his grandparents were Scottish. So, yeah, it's reasonable, but it's quite weird, isn't it? I bet he got given some stick when they heard him talk, when he went up to box for Scotland. But, yeah, he's the only guy to have dropped Beterbiev, Callum Johnson, from England or Scotland, depending on which one you choose. Yeah, he dropped Beterbiev. And rewatching it, it was a pretty solid knockdown. Definitely had Beterbiev hurt. It was no, fluke knockdown.
The referee had said no, but then Johnson had gotten back into the ring and continues to rough up Johnson. And short goes down. Oh, stunner. And he's wobbled.
Watch Johnson jump on him now. He's in trouble.
You want to continue? Callum Johnson with a chance of...
What? Guess what? I was wrong. He's wrong. It wasn't only Callum Johnson who's dropped him. Yeah? He's not the only guy, Callum Johnson, to have dropped Beterbiev. A guy called Jeff Page Jr. dropped him. Right? Jeff Page Jr., who was unbeaten at the time, he was knocked out in 2 rounds, but he did drop Beterbiev. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I guess he can boast about that. Jeff Page Jr. from Kansas.